To be fair, I consider myself really lucky. In this project, I managed to get this shot, which was a really, really cool shot in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the supervisor for this shot was Alvise Avati. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a fantastic animator, and I was able to learn quite a lot from him on the for this shot.
Mm.
So uh, the big challenge of the shot was the weight, right? Because you have a wolf, but
Yes.
it's supposed to obviously move and feel like a wolf, but it's also a giant wolf.
Giant wolf. Yeah.
So the number one, I think one of the number one things that is harder to pull off, in especially in visual effects animation, is weight,
Mm.
because a lot of the times we get references from when you're animating creatures, you get references from real life creatures that you want to use like as a base, that you're going to base your whatever science fiction or creature that doesn't exist. You're going to base it on a real creature.
Mm.
But the difference is that a lot of the times those real creatures are much smaller and much lighter. And when you're translating that into what you're doing, you want to actually try and capture the weight element of it. That it doesn't really, for example, if you go look at a wolf,
Mm.
it's not going to feel as heavy as this.
Yeah.
And how do you do weight well? Well, there's issue of timing, the way that they move, a little bit more slower side to side. If it takes, X amount of frames to do a step, maybe if it's bigger, it takes 50-30% more.
Mm.
Um, and and it's about capturing that weight. And this is why I was very happy to get this shot at the beginning, because it's one of the things that I was able to work on very early,
Mm.
because it's something that, and even to this day, it's still a big challenge, like the ability to sell weight. There
Yeah.
was once an animator, I can't even remember who it was, that told me like they basically pay me to animate weight properly. Because
Okay.
that really is one of the biggest things, being able to sell something that's heavy, even when it's not.
So the base is always a normal reference.
Generally, you want to base it, you want to ground it on reality, right? In terms of the mechanics of how it moves and the things
Mm.
that it does,
Mm.
and from there you take it into the fantastical. In this case, which is something interesting, I don't think there was I remember we looked at a lot of wolves here,
Mm.
but I think, and I didn't work on this specifically, but there was a run cycle of this wolf, where he was running,
Okay.
that we were using a bunch of wolf reference and whatever, and at some point we weren't very convinced by the weightiness of it, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe
Mm.
that someone started using references of buffaloes running,
Mm.
and buffaloes are just massive creatures, they're
Yeah.
super incredibly heavy creatures. And I think eventually someone did like a run cycle of uh, based a little bit on the buffalo run cycle, and that immediately was like, whoa, that clicked immediately, because that's what you want it to feel. You want it to feel like this heavy, massive animal.
Mm.
And in this shot, so this shot in particular, it's a full CG shot, meaning that everything is CG. I'm not working with plates here.
Mm.
I basically did the camera, um, which is why I was able to get a little bit of the camera shakes on the
Mm.
steps, and I also directed the the bullets. So I basically I was basically the director in a way, if you want to call it like that, of like I animated the bullets, of how the timing of when they would hit and how they would hit, and how he would react,
Mm.
and then I passed it over to the effects department that would actually do the effects. And in terms of my workflow for this, the first thing obviously was getting like a good walk cycle of the
Mm.
wolf,
Mm.
and I got a walk cycle, out of the bullets, and then I layered in the performance of the wolf into the takeoff.
Mhm.
That was basically my approach for the shot.